we just wanted to come out and obviously very happy with the way pension reform passed today in the House. We've been working for a number of months with our colleagues in the House Democratic Caucus to try to reach a consensus where we can finally get this issue checked off for the time being. You know, obviously last week was seeing liquor become law in the first real step towards changing our liquor system in over 80 years, and now putting forth a bipartisan pension reform proposal that will save the taxpayers over $5 billion. I think speaks to the willingness and the ability for the two caucuses in the House to work together. And we think this is a midway point in the process. We look forward to working with our colleagues on the House Democratic side of the aisle over the next 2 weeks, hopefully to complete the budget process as well, and just get a number of items done for the people of Pennsylvania. We recognize that with divided government, you've got to make some compromise. You've got to try to find a way to meet in the middle, and have been very happy with the working relationship that we've formed with the House Democratic Caucus over the last couple of months to try to work towards that goal, because I think the folks in Pennsylvania want to see things done. They recognize that sometimes you got to take more than one step to get exactly where you want to be, and I think today was a huge moment for the people of Pennsylvania in reforming our pension system, bringing some sustainability to that system in the long run, and some cost savings to our taxpayers as well. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Representative Tobash and Representative Camp, who've been working on this issue for a number of years for our caucus. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Okay, so we're just coming off the House floor after a historic vote. I mean, the ability to implement a defined contribution element to our retirement plan for state employees and people in our public education system, I think, is extremely important. And I am gratified by the sense of cooperation that we've had in these last number of weeks and months. As Leader Reid said, we've been working on this issue, I'll say tirelessly, for a number of years now. And I believe that, I don't always like to use the word compromise, but I do love to use the word cooperation. And I think he hit the nail on the head when he said Pennsylvanians expect us to get something done, and our pension crisis is the biggest challenge that we're facing in the Commonwealth. There's no question about it. I mean, we lived through an impasse in a budget last year that went, 9 long months, largely a result of this steep increase that we've got in this pension system. Now, that's not going to go away, but we have set Pennsylvania on a path that we're going to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And the introduction of a defined contribution plan, like the private sector has, will do exactly that. So there's no question that there's no magic wand to get us out of $50 or $60 billion of debt. But this is a major step, and it's an acknowledgement that Pennsylvania government can get together, work together, and accomplish meaningful reform, something that will be good for the Commonwealth in the future for decades to come. So I think it bodes well. I'm gratified, as I've said, with the bipartisan effort, and we've got to continue to work on this and many other issues in this spirit to make sure we're doing the work that Pennsylvanians expect us to do. Warren?
Okay, thanks, Mike. To me, the fact that we've voted on the creation of a 401k plan for all new school district and state employees is, it's monumental. I think there are only 7 or 8 states in the entire country that have done this. If we can get this enacted into law, it's an absolutely huge achievement. And I think back home for, just about everybody in my district and every district around the state, this is what people expect. This is what they have in their own lives. They're living with a DC plan, a 401k plan for their retirement, and they expect the public sector to be like what they have. And we're taking steps towards that with legislation like this, and God willing, the Senate will pass it and it'll be signed by the governor. And with that, Speaker Turzai, would you like to say something?
Thanks, everybody, for being here. To Leader Reid, just an outstanding job positioning this bill, put together essentially a veto-proof number. Again, just outstanding work. And to Representative Tobash, Representative Camp, Representative Ross, who have long been working on moving Pennsylvania into the 21st century. Thank you on behalf of the citizens of Pennsylvania. The rest of our leadership team has been firmly committed behind this work, and I have to say it's just been great to take this team together and moving Pennsylvania forward. A couple of important things I think about the legislation that we just passed. I do think it is historic. First of all, it takes new hires into a defined contribution-like plan, a 401k-like plan. But it's still competitive. It's competitive with the private sector. The private sector, as you know, has been there since the mid-90s. But more importantly, it also allows us to begin with the savings that are being put into the system over the next 30 years. It allows us to begin to shore up or firm up the retirements for existing employees and retirees already in the system, both for PSERS and SERS. So if you want to protect those retirement benefits, we've got to make some changes moving forward. And this is a significant first step. Again, I applaud Representative Tobash for coming up with this approach, for agreeing to make sure that all of the savings from this new plan design, in fact, goes into the systems. We are, in fact, moving into the 21st century into a defined contribution, but we are also shoring up the pensions for existing employees and retirees. Representative Camp has staked out important ground in moving us forward. I have to say, without their efforts and Chris Ross's effort, we wouldn't be here. But in the end, Leader Reid put together a team that allowed for a veto-proof vote. I'm convinced that the Senate, I believe that they should put this bill up on the governor's desk. I'm convinced that the governor's going to sign the bill. I think that the governor recognizes that there's a need for movement ahead, and we've had a very positive relationship on a number of pieces of legislation, and I just want to congratulate everybody for thinking about the future citizens of Pennsylvania and for those existing retirees and employees. Thank you. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Leader Reid and the team for taking questions. Thank you for having us here.